let me ask of you all to go ahead and hit the subscribe button as well, because you can look forward to many more collaborations between me and my brother DarkManX. As long as he's willing to collab with me about anything, I'll make myself available for him. So I'm not going to talk too much because he has plenty of questions for me about these current disasters. I know many of you have plenty as well. Let me just say flat power to all of y'all. If you haven't sub. We're going to have a great show today. Share this, hit the like button, and share this. And with that being said, I'm going to fall back and I'm going to let my brother take the steering wheel from here.
All right, thanks, bro. Thanks a lot. I'd like to say peace and love to everyone in the room. Thanks to everyone that also supports my channel. Thanks to everyone that supports Brother Sanchez channel. And from here on out, I just want to, collab and link with brothers that has that knowledge and that experience for the people to expand all of our minds and just to keep us thinking and look at things from different perspective. You understand? Because lately I've also been pushing on my channel that it's not much so about race, it's more so about energy and the energy that this planet has to offer. And as we see that this planet is under attack, you understand? So when we debunk a lot of the things that's going on with this planet as far as these man-made wars and stuff like that, it would also prove also that, for that the earth is not round at the same time. And a lot of folks has been asking about what is the spiritual effect that this change of weather and man-made storms is having on us, and what is also going on out there in what we call space within the universe itself. So I thought Brother Sanchez was the right person to bring on the show to, ask these questions to, so that you guys can have a proper understanding of what's going on and what he thinks about also these man-made storms and what exactly is creating them, or the theory behind what is creating them to make these things happen. All right. So let's get into it. So one of my viewers had asked me before, does the eclipse play any role into the energy harvesting of what they're putting into making these man-made storms, and what is the main purpose behind these storms?
Well, the eclipse doesn't really play a role in the storms. This eclipse itself is kind of questionable because we've never really had one like that in America the way we see. And what I would say is this: there's a lot of speculation surrounding this last eclipse. If you haven't checked up on a channel called Richie from Boston, go check it out. He talked about the eclipse may have been artificial. A lot of people gonna say, boy, you out your mind, an artificial eclipse. Hey man, they got a patent that shows they got the technology to actually make their own eclipse. So there's a lot of, we in a different day and time, my brother Dark Man, and we got to realize that the powers that be are years ahead of us as far as technology go. And we got to understand that they have achieved a level of playing God that's frightening, and a lot of us don't want to deal with it, but we're going to deal with it today. So as far as the eclipse go, yeah, I can say that I can't 100% say the eclipse has anything to do with the hurricanes, but I do think there's a spiritual symbolic meaning to everything they do. And what I'm going to say is this, because I don't want to be too long-winded. I know you got plenty more questions. You really need to check that video out, guys, on both sides. These people have the technology to make an artificial sun. This eclipse was like no other. It was, no one predicted it. Did you know it was coming, DarkManX?
No,
I mean,
even.
A lot of,
and
you see, go ahead. I'm sorry.
And they're talking about another one coming in about 4 years from now. That there's another one coming 4 years from now, so they're already talking about that one. But you know what was so funny? Because I started taking pictures when the eclipse was happening, right? The supposed eclipse, and I saw a third image coming into the formation of the eclipse as well. So I'm like, but it doesn't make any sense. You know, to me, it didn't make any sense. And then I saw like a beam of light shining straight through on it because I got a very high powered lens. So it's certain things that the average person wasn't seeing. I was seeing. I was picking up on when I was taking pictures of it. So it was just a lot of stuff that didn't make sense to me. And then when I saw that beam, I started thinking about the ceremonial beams of the World Trade and stuff like that, and harvesting of spiritual power and stuff like that.
And see, that's one thing. I don't know if you was watching the recent videos I did on Hurricane Harvey, and I've been covering these storms from a bunch of different levels. But what I'm gonna say is, if you didn't see those videos, check them out. I might put the links out in a minute. What I'm gonna say is, when you say it's spiritual, you're right, because I went over that in my videos. When you ask me, are these storms man-made? I have so much evidence to prove that they're man-made. And one of the things that's crazy is the names they use. For example, the weather-making machines are being passed off as rockets, but they're not really rockets. They're saying they're testing engines, but the engines are really cloud makers. And the name of the rockets for these so-called engines are the Thor Delta series. Thor is the god of weather. He's the god of rain, of thunder. And Delta is the region that's under attack right now. It's like they speaking to us in a coded language, and it's crazy. It's like it's like the mythology is real, and there's different scripts playing out at the same time in our reality. In so many words.
Yeah, and that's what I try to tell like a lot of my subs, that these folks, they deal in symbolism. Everything with them is symbolic. Everything that they put out, they put it in a code in a coded format. And the only way to really understand what they're doing right in front of your face is that you have to learn even some of the basics of numerology, astrology, learn etymology, the origins of words, stuff like that, because a lot of that stuff plays a part into what's going on right now in front of our faces today. Uh, yeah. As far as the with the equipment of what they're using, yeah, I kind of figured, because I had did a video a couple of days ago showing like little clips from I forgot the brother's name, but this brother had put together a lot of clips, and then I put a clip together showing also the state of the University of Iowa, how they were making a tornado simulator, and they built it to show how they could direct it over towns, just like that. And this is what I was trying to portray to my subs, that these people have this capability and this technology of doing that. Now the question is that they want to know is why, and how does it even affect us also on a spiritual level, with us being connected still with the planet.
They want to know how does the storms affect us on a spiritual level.
Yeah.
Well, when you say we're connected with the planet, it's interesting, because your people have to understand, as well as my people, brother, that spirituality and physicality has never been separate. Our ancestors never looked at spirituality separate from physicality. No different than we don't look at we don't look at water as being something different than steam. We know it's the same thing in different forms. We know that you can't have one without the other. So with that being said, the attack, when you think about NASA being a space program, and you think of what me and you know, brother, we enlightened right now. We understand that NASA has weather manipulation capabilities, and that they're displacing the people, causing massive migrations. We understand that, me and you, brother. Yeah. But the surface is that they're a space program, and that they're just all about space. But when you think about it, they are all about space. They are controlling space. They're controlling the way we migrate, and they're displacing people with weather warfare. And they are a space program. they've been gaining acres and thousands of acres of land for free of charge just because they putting these centers up in different lands. Ever since the 60s, they had space centers throughout Hancock and throughout Florida, even one in Huntsville, Alabama, my home state. And these are a chain of weather manipulation devices. When these centers came on the scene, that's when they first started naming storms.
Yeah.
So they didn't name hurricanes prior to the invention of these weather manipulation systems. So that's something you got to think about. Man named things, he create things he can patent. And the fact that the news are able to just predict these hurricanes, like they are in the mind of the hurricane. Like nature is unpredictable. You don't know which way a fire or which way the tornado gonna go. Like they are able to just tell you it's gonna make a right degree turn, 90-degree turn here because they know they're controlling it. But we can get deeper into that in a minute.
Yeah, because I even I was looking into it the other day, and they patented all these weather manipulation devices that they have from in the 70s. So then I started thinking about the tornado that had hit downtown Utah. I don't know if you remember that.
A tornado hit down. Okay.
Yeah, I think it was about 15 years ago. And everyone was saying that that's not normal because that's not the regular pattern that these storms usually take when it comes hurricane season. So we know that these storms always take the same pattern, and all of a sudden, it was about 15 years ago when that twister hit downtown Utah, Salt Lake City, and ran straight through and destroyed all those buildings and caused all that devastation. From then, I started saying it's something wrong with that. It just doesn't seem normal. It didn't feel like a normal storm. It just felt like someone was testing out a new toy that they were perfecting. And now that they've perfected it, they're just letting us have it right now.
And you know, a lot of people will argue that, well, hey, it's hurricane season. It's hurricane season. It hasn't always been this way. That's the argument we should make. And the crazy thing about hurricanes, they only get energy over water, and they cause a lot of coastal damage. But what we see here is a series of hurricanes back to back. Where are they getting their energy from? Once a hurricane strike land, it does its damage, and that's the end of it. It's like it's a hurricane that's striking land, going back into the ocean, getting more energy, coming back, going back. It seemed like a targeted series of attacks as opposed to, nature, because the areas that's under the most attack are the areas that they always been interested in, areas they've been surveying for resources and things. I can get into that. But this thing goes deep. These weather attacks started in the 60s, but what they call geoengineering been around ever since the 1800s. The space race was really just a cover-up. All of these different nations went to, it was a race to see who was going to develop this weather manipulation technology first. That's what it really was. And another way I can prove that is that, you know what? Let me pull it up. I did my research. I'm gonna read this and then I'll pass the mic back to you. What happened was NASA was founded in 1958, and in 1958, President Dwight Eisenhower's weather advisor made this statement, and I quote: "If an unfriendly nation gets into a position to control the large-scale weather patterns before we can, the result could be even more disastrous than nuclear warfare." That was from Howard T. Orville in 1958. Mr. Howard T. Orville made this statement to President Eisenhower, and I'm going to say it one more time. This was in 1958. He said, if an unfriendly nation gets into a position to control the large-scale weather patterns before we can, the result could even be more disastrous than nuclear warfare. that was in 58. That same year, NASA was created, and the hurricanes began like we see today. Hurricanes always been around, but the way we see them today. And I can trace this thing all the way back to the 1800s, but I'm going to stop there. You guys can check out those videos for more in-depth info.
And you see the thing that a lot of folks have to realize and understand is even though they mastered this technology isn't nothing new. It's nothing new. The only difference is they're using it for warfare. Because if you look at all the good that they could do with this technology, all the countries that have droughts, that they could use this technology to bring water to them. You understand? Look at California the other day. California was in a drought, right? And they claim that there's no way to fix it and people just going to have to move and all of this, but they have the capability to make it rain. And they refuse to do it for that purpose. And to touch on what Brother Sanchez was saying earlier, that is to disrupt the migrational pattern, that is true. It is to disrupt the migrational pattern. And the more land they take is the more they shrink and minimize the space that we are in, and the more they can take control of all the natural resources around us. Because you got to remember, understand that they're already telling us that we can't catch rainwater. And now we know why, because they trademark and patent the rain, because it is coming from their man-made manufactured clouds that they make. They also do it right in front of our eyes, because a lot of the industrial areas within our communities that we think are just regular factories are cloud making machines. And that's also another thing that we have to look out for and realize and understand really what's going on in front of us. If we're not looking at things from a wider angle and a different perspective, we have to start getting off of that one-track mind mentality so that we could see all different angles of how these folks who we call the elites are attacking everyone.
They most definitely attacking everybody. The crazy thing about what you saying is that these different factories in our neighborhoods and stuff, and there's videos of them. I was gonna share some, but I think people just can check. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make another video on this channel, and I'm gonna have all of the links to the work I've been doing on this topic. And I'm going to have all of those videos in one spot. So y'all just subscribe, stay tuned, and be on the lookout for that. I've been covering this thing from all different perspectives, as well as the spiritual warfare perspective that we all need to see to understand how big it is, what's going on. You're right. We got to understand that not only can they cause storms and manipulate weather, but they're so good at it, they can steer the storms, and they can also control how powerful they're gonna be. And these are millions and millions and millions of gallons of water above your head, and when it comes down, it's not a pretty sight. So you can't imagine really what's going on in the world now. And there's been record-breaking floods and events going on. Record-breaking, y'all. And the crazy thing about it is they've mastered the technology at this time. So we see that they've gotten badder and badder from Katrina to up to date. They breaking records. But what I wanted to point out is, not only can they steer these things, they name these storms, and they you gotta kind of picture this in your head: a room full of men controlling a dangerous, violent, ferocious, hideous weather phenomena. And I don't know if you've been looking at YouTube, but they got all kind of different ugly clouds that didn't exist just 20 years ago. Rolling clouds that shape, they call them chainsaw clouds or something that shape like a chainsaw. And they showing this other video where NASA's making these clouds. So they got their own clouds. They got patented cloud. Yeah, some of these cloud formations that look weird to you, Mother Nature didn't make that. And crazy storms can come out of these things. So they personified deities like Thor. in mythology, but the whole mythology is a scientific concept that physically exists and affect us. The mythology is the spiritual concept that affect us physically. When they say things happen in the spiritual first, the mind of man has conceived some hideous things upon this earth. But I'm gonna fall back and I'm gonna let you input.
Yeah, and I always try to tell some of my subs as well that it is what has happened throughout history as well is these folks have it's like they switch roles with who the ones are that originally controlled this form of science and these form of technologies. And when they switch roles, then those who were using it for good, then now become the ones who don't even know no more about what this is because they've been lost in translation with who they are or whom their ancestors were. And then now these folks now took on this technology, and these folks who are the total opposite of us. I always call them the antichrist, right? So we have righteous beings, and we have this negative flow of beings, and somehow they switch roles and got a lot of our people to fall for the okie doke to feel like, well, they're always the good guys. In the meanwhile, they created this illusion system, right? This NASA, because we got to remember that NASA, the scientists from NASA are the same scientists that Hitler had. These are the same Nazi scientists, and these are the founders of NASA. So, and those dudes weren't working on nothing good when they were over there with Hitler. They were working on straight up world domination and weapons like that. So we think that the German army was defeated. They weren't defeated. All they did was switch faces. They just switched places and took over this land and infiltrated this governmentary system over here. And when they created NASA, they got us all to fall for the whole, we're going to go into outer space. Man has been into outer space. Man has been on the moon. Man has been on Mars. And us not knowing that what we're taking from Mars is the American desert. The pyramids that they're showing and all these things is the American desert and probably lands that we don't even know that exist to this very day, because I feel like they've been beyond the Arctic and found those warm lands beyond the Arctic. So, it's with this whole weather manipulation thing, they have to get you to fall into the space age era. So where you're thinking that they're out of space because you're looking at the ships being launched up, but you're not paying attention to the clouds that they're creating while the launch pattern is taking place. And the way how my theory is the way how they're directing these storms is when they launch that shuttle up, because you got to remember that shuttle also must be running on solar power and so many other different form of power source that they have invented that never dies. Because they have batteries that never dies. They have energy sources that just never dies. So that shuttle could stay up there for a real long time and need maintenance every now and then. And it could also have what you would call like a kind of a suction or a fan system underneath it. So imagine multiple of those shuttles up there, and it's just directing the storm to where it wants to go with after the chemtrails and the cloud seeding. Because what they do is they make sure that the clouds are slowed down to where they could direct it to which direction they want it to go in. And then you got to imagine the submarines and the so-called commercial ships that they have out there in the waters with these mega fans that's on them. And I spotted one when they did a so-called Coast Guard training, and they had a commercial ship with just straight fans on the top of it. And I'm like, that makes no sense to have those fans on the top of this. And then it hit me. This is how they also pushing these hurricanes over to the direction of where they want it to go. And when you hear that it takes a sharp turn and it goes over Haiti or goes over Barbuda or goes over Antigua, or it's going back over to Miami, and then it turns away and it goes here and there. This is what they're doing. So when we saw Hurricane Harvey hit Houston and it hovered, they held it there into the position that of where it was hovering because they wanted it to hit a certain spot. And when it didn't do the job that they wanted it to do, they opened up the levee on them so that it could flood them out. Like if y'all track these hurricanes that has been hitting, they've all hit 1 year apart from each other or 2-3 years apart from each other in the same month on the same day. the same date.
Yep. Yep. And I shared that. I shared that information on the videos that I had uploaded. I don't know exactly the individual who made those original little images and everything, but shout out to
Yeah.
him because that lets you know that this definitely man made. This they got a cult science behind it. Nature is
Exactly.
spontaneous, yeah, and nature is abstract. Again, it's wild, unpredictable. It ain't gonna come every date on the same date like an anniversary. So like it's really crazy because the day that these things happen on is Thursday. And that's crazy because that tie into the Greek god Thor again, who controlled the weather.
Exactly.
The first storm Harvey started on a Thursday. This is crazy stuff. I don't think it's a coincidence, but I don't know if you ever saw the cloud making machines that they got passing them off as launch pads and
Yeah,
rockets.
I did a video, a recent video on them.
Yeah, and they got all kind of forms of different technology. They even got artificial volcanoes that they use in the past to create little storms and everything.
Hmm. Oh, that also relates to a topic that I've been researching lately, called it with the silicon trees. Well, about those volcanoes as well, and that even the volcanoes now that they are now making themselves. That again, they didn't get the idea. They didn't just come up with that idea. It's something that has been around long before our existence, and it all stems from the silicon trees, which is the name that it is being called by. So it is a lot. And these were trees that had like a crystallized base on the inside of them, and they grew up to like 19, 20,000 feet tall. And these trees had multiple purposes. They were built to not only keep certain parts of the planet from overheating, but to also harvest a substantial amount of solar rays, energy from the solar rays that we feel every day. Especially like how now we're about to have a magnetic storm. I think hit around what, September 25th, with a massive solar ray storm or something like that. Something like that. I'm hearing that's coming this direction. Well, that's what those trees was there for, to absorb all that energy that's supposed to impact the earth, and also help the vibrational pattern shift, and the magnetic shift of the earth shift, because every living entity and thing on this planet has their own magnetic field. So it plays a lot within the weather pattern of what's also going on today, because what they did, these trees were cut down, and what we take for mountains, or not mountains, they actually use tree stumps, and they're finding these crystallized bases still of these trees, and they're using them as a power source also, and as an energy source to use to power a lot of the machines and the military equipment that they're using back on us today. you know
You
so
so
it
yep.
has a lot. It has a lot. And then whatever technology they use to cut down those trees, you know how you cut a tree with a chainsaw, that sawdust builds up in like a mountain type pattern. So that's what happened, and that's how these volcanoes were able to also form. And whatever chemical that was also involved with them cutting down the tree had a buildup. So when that sawdust turned solid and turned into what we call like a mountain now, that chemical was still in there heating up. So over time, it heats up so much that it caused like a combusted eruption, and then you have what we call lava bursting out of what we call a volcano coming down, and not knowing that it's not really not knowing that it's really what we call the leftover sediments from the silicon trees that formed, and over time we created a solid mass of land, and just had whatever chemicals that they were using also at that time. Because even nuclear power is nothing new with these people. All they did was took ancestral technology and just recreated it and started using it as a massive weapon. That's
Yep.
it.
That's
Yeah.
all they did. to people out there in the chat room who may be wondering how can they manipulate weather, again, don't worry, we ain't gonna leave no stones unturned. I'm gonna be sharing that information because there's several videos out there that show you different types of weather making machines. They got the what they call the WSAC, the ground machines, what you was talking about earlier from the factories. Then they got the ones that they do from the so-called space centers. And that's crazy, man, because you got to think about that, man. When NASA came about in 1958, what did they do? They started manipulating weather, moving around people. They made treaties to create a boundary called the Antarctic Treaty, came out of the space race. So literally, they got you thinking space is about diamond planets and going to see ET, when really it can potentially be infinite space around you in different lands that they go on the water control now. The crazy thing about it is they call a space program, and they literally control space, but not in the way they got you thinking is controlling space. You know what I mean? It's really crazy, man.
Yeah. Like, and I try to tell folks that because there's so much secrets in this world today that when you think about the amount of stuff that they hid from everybody, imagine if a lot of us was privy to a lot of this knowledge, a lot of the things that we see going on today wouldn't even be going on today. So it's like a lot of the information from certain teachers or certain scholars is like now you're going to have to start questioning them and re-go over in them with a fine-tooth comb. Just to say this as a little sidebar, this is why when I got into start getting out of like my Afrocentric stage and started expanding my mind, one of the first channels I came onto was Brother Sanchez channel. And he covers a vast variety of multiple different things, and it just make you want to consistently think outside the box. So when I stumbled across his channel, I started going over a lot of the teachers that I used to follow information, and I come to find out that some of them gave half truths and misled you the rest of the way to still keep you locked within this matrix type system. So when you could get out of that and you stop looking at things from a me versus he type of atmosphere, and you start looking at it more of a natural type of atmosphere and looking at it from a planetary type of situation, you're going to see everything and everyone for who they are and for what it is, and to why all of this violence, to why all of this misleading, to why all of this corruption, to why everything is the way how it is today. And you're going to get to the core of the folks who are doing it, because for years we was always taught that it was Caucasians. But now that I come into the understanding that it's Asiatics, and when I say Asiatics, it means every different color of the rainbow that came from one side of the world that chose to come over to the next side of the world to conquer. And then they took that technology, they took everything that they learned, and they just manipulated the entire world. And this is why they say only the 1% knows, and the rest of the world shall be slaves to the 1%. That's because those few, that 1%, is not just Caucasians, it is also who we call Negroes and Asians and so on and so on and so on, that is all working together to keep the masses underneath this spell. And while we're focused on one thing, they have all this technology going on, poisoning us. Like, we wonder why some of us just have asthma. We come outside on some days we can't breathe right, and so on and so on and so on. Now you got to look into the coal mining factories. They're digging up all this coal mines, these coals, and they're telling you that they need to dig up the coal for power. They need it for energy. Yeah, they need it for power and energy because everything, that, like I said, is energy harvesting. And they take that coal and they put it to their factories, and that's smoke that they get from the coal, that cloud, that's the poisonous toxins that's going out there in the air, that's destroying your lungs, making you not being able to breathe right, affecting your child before your child even come into this world, and thus you have asthma. Your child is being born with asthma. You're allergic to this, you're allergic to that, and you don't even know where it's coming from. Well, that's where it's coming from.
That is, and you know what? It's amazing that you say that, because when I talked earlier about all of the water that it takes to cause these storms, that water have to come from somewhere. And it's amazing that all of these space centers are by major rivers and water sources.
Exactly.
The one that's doing the most damage now. The one that's doing the most damage now is near the Mississippi. Most of them are along the Mississippi. Got one in Florida, and we know these are these swamp areas, plenty water, swamp water. They using this water to rain back down on the people. They are burning certain engines in certain areas. And like I said, this water have to come from somewhere. Millions of gallons of water, it have to come from somewhere. Shout out to Sister Sassy, undeniably. Welcome to the show, my sister. Let me give you a wrench. This water have to come from somewhere, Dark Man. And I think that ties into why they don't want us collecting the rainwater too, because that's what blew the lid off of the whole poisons in the chemtrail thing, or the whole, if you go look at chemtrails was once a conspiracy. Poison in the rain and the atmosphere was once a conspiracy. Just like flat earth is a conspiracy, and eventually it'll be a norm of truth. But to make a long story short, the lady who found out about the poisons above us, her plants was dying. She was doing experiments on the rainwater and the different water systems around there, finding different things that they were spraying down on us in the air. That blew the lid off that thing, off that deception. But when you fast forward to today, look at these so-called tropical storms. A lot of the water that they're using to create these storms, it come from various sources. I was on a site that was just explaining them all, and it was actually a government site. I got a video coming out. It's going to be released either tomorrow or the next day. That's going to be a continuation. I've been covering this stuff. Y'all got to check it out. They're using wastewater and all of that to have us as a source to, this is a lot of water. And they even using, can you think about that? Our own wastewater is being rained down on us. And I remember sometime it used to rain back in the day. And the rain, I know I'm not playing. I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to fall back with this one. But rain cut me before. Rain has dropped on me and left like cuts and shit. I don't know, I might be tripping, but somebody says sometime it's acid in the rain. But I do
acid rain.
Yeah. But I'm going to tell you, man, I do believe that, it's a lot that can be told in a rain driplet about what's in the atmosphere. But I'm going to fall back.
Mm-hmm. You know what I also noticed that when that rainwater also hits your crops that you're growing, like, because for me, I have a garden in my backyard, and when the rainwater hits it, my plants they grow faster. And then I noticed that when I go to out of town to go visit like my aunts and them, their crop that used to flourish isn't flourishing anymore. It's like each year they're hardly making the harvest that they usually make. So now when I said earlier that every living thing have its own magnetic field, what they're also doing is they also have the capability to alter the magnetic field of your farmland, of the growth process of certain plants. Matter of fact, all plants, if they wanted to, they could interrupt that magnetic field to where if you were used to growing 50 pumpkins this year, next year it's 20, then it's 10, then the next year it's none. Then the plant itself the next year after that just don't come up. And what was once a plush green land is starting to look like a desert wasteland. So they have that capability right now. And then also what they're doing is they're also making soil now that has little magnetic fragments in them to help also boost your plant growth. So now what they're doing is they're also taking charge of the magnetic force of the planet, and they're using it as a monetary gain system. So they having you pay for nature. So it blows my mind to how deep and to how much these folks have done, due to the fact that they kept perpetuating certain things within our community and keeping certain folks within our community for all of us to keep going against each other when a bigger agenda was taking place right in front of our eyes, and we just didn't see it. Do you know how big that is, that they could control the magnetic field around a plant to decide if you place a magnet on the bottom of your plant, and your plant is a plant that grows within the north, and you place the magnet south, that plant won't develop how it's supposed to develop. But if you place the magnet north, that plant will flourish and grow faster than any other plant or any other time that plant usually grows. These are the things that they figured out. These are the things that they figured out, and what material to use to create this little magnetic residue to put within the soil that they're reselling you back. So not only are they poisoning the earth, and not only are they poisoning the rainwater itself, or altering the rainwater itself, they're taking control of everything, and they having you pay for nature.
And you know something,
You
my brother? I've heard other people say that we haven't had any real weather ever since the 50s and 40s. They said the earth lost its natural weather, and they've been creating our weather for the past like 50 years, that man has been generating the weather. And they said that he's now kind of losing the ability to kind of uphold this thing. Of course, we know if that was the case, no one would be able to keep this weather under control like the Most High. But now this bring about a lot of more. It's bring about another dimension to the conversation, my brother. What about the Most High element? Think about it. We both know man has the ability to control and manipulate the atmosphere, control weather. Well, a lot of people that follow you, that follow me, may say, well, yeah, man may have that ability, but the Most High gonna win eventually, and the Most High gonna actually, kind of spank man and get him back in check. What do you feel about that? I want to touch on that for just a brief minute, because that's interesting, because is there going to be a spanking intervention that's going to come outside of the people? Because I think about stuff like Occupy Wall Street, and I look at all the YouTubers that's still talking about a bunch of nothing on their live streams right now while we're under weather attack. And I say, why don't we occupy Stennis? Why don't we occupy these space centers? Why don't we driving our cars right by these factories, like you said, and we see them blowing these giant clouds into the sky. Those clouds are traveling miles away to wreak havoc on our brothers and sisters in neighboring cities and targeted areas. And we're standing there going to work right around it, just letting them blow the smoke right there. When are we going to stand up and stop saying, hey, the Most High going to do this, the Most High going to do that? Because when I think about, and I know I asked you a question, and I'm turning out to be answering the question.
Go ahead.
But yeah, we talk about the Most High, when the Most High, what we call God, is actually theology. It's a concept. And you think about science being kind of like an action that would allow you to become the Most High on earth. Think about it. You can look at NASA like a deity, like a god. And in fact, they name this weather control technology after gods like Thor, and they cause the storms on Thor's day or Thursday. Matter of fact, since I'm bringing all of the spiritual warfare aspect to it, can I give y'all a little bit of spiritual information real quick? You got it?
Go ahead.
Well, and I'm gonna say this, because we was mentioning this spiritual thing earlier. You know what? Before I go into that, let you build on what I said, because I don't want to get too far, and
My perception of the Most High is that since we are all said to be soul beings, right? The body is a vessel. We are the soul. We are the energy force that is harnessing this vessel, and we maneuver it. And we came from a higher source. Then we are all parts of that higher source. And if we here work together here within this realm, all together as one, to combat this evil or this entity that is choosing to destroy what we will call then the Most High's creation, then we together as one will be that power source that they speak of, that they call the Most High. Because if you're not going to be willing to help yourself, then why would the Most High help you? Because if the Most High created all of this for you and created you to manage and maintain all of this in a righteous and a positive way, then and it's going down, and you're not willing to fight for it, then why would this supreme element come and fight for you? And you're not willing to fight for that supreme element, because this is the Mother Earth, is the supreme, is part of the supreme element, and she provides all the food for you, all your everything that you need to shelter yourself, what you need to clothe yourself, what you need to feed yourself. All of these things is provided for you, and she's being destroyed, and you're not willing to fight back for her. Then why should the Most High, why should this supreme element, this supreme energy, this supreme being come and fight for you, and you're not fighting for the gift that it has given you?
And see, the thing I want to plug in with that is I can't agree with that. And I just don't think that nothing gonna save us other than bravery. You know, I think about the spiritual side. I think about the ancient side, even before NASA, even before they had this technology. The ancients was fighting these same wars where they have been controlling. Well, when man first developed fire, he first discovered fire. You look today, they got a god to represent that discovery in that area and that concept and that scientific discovery, which is really a spiritual discovery. You got to think nature is what we interface with to even know the nature of God. We say the nature of this, the nature of that. Nature is simply the nature of the all, nature itself. Yes. So if you perceive nature as this God that rains down and storm you, it's the same God that they created and written to their spiritual texts. And they manifest these gods because they first you got to realize the spiritual science of personification and how it's a form of sigil making itself. You take the concept and the scientific ability to control weather and you personify it as a deity, for example, Thor. You personify that, you see how the Most High make weather. We can study nature and see how nature creates storms. We can see how the sun will shine down on a particular rainforest and that'll be wildfires, and that there'll be storms that happen after the wildfires because so much smoke went up there, you know, and that we understand the concept of putting certain gases up there to make it rain. You know, they got ancient mounds that they build that if you pass by them today, you would call them volcanoes. They got little steam coming from them, little steam coming from the top, but they never quite have no lava, no magma underneath them. It seemed like a big smoking dirt pile. A lot of these are man-made volcanoes. You know the difference between nature's and man's, but a lot of volcanoes we think are real are man-made volcanoes, and the people will say, he's so dumb to say that, but they'll say that these hurricanes are man-made. Now, these hurricanes are bigger than the ones we see in nature, and man made them. So if he can do that, what make you think he wouldn't create piles of dirt back in the day? You know, it don't take nothing for a bunch of men to pile up some dirt and create you a mountain the size of, man, some you would think nature made. Man has shaped geographics on this earth for many years, and what we've done to the earth, we've either benefited from it or failed and died from it. So now you have a bunch of men in power that has controlled the have-nots by the displacement of people and the manipulation of weather. But what I want to say is this isn't new. They was doing it before they had this high-tech technology. Like I said, it go all the way back to the 1800s. And even before then, in ancient wars, when they didn't have none of this technology, they would dam off certain rivers. So what the enemy will do, if they don't have to even come to your land to defeat you. You know what they can do? They can just conquer a smaller land that's upstream. And then by them having that strategic part of the earth, they can build a dam right there and just drown, have a and cut you off from the river system. You see what I'm saying? So like if I'm going to war with a person in ancient day, and this is a lot of the way we even shape the earth. You know, the Suez Canal is man-made, and that's a very strategic part of the earth in that area. and dictates a lot of trade and everything. And just to think that it's man-made show you the power of man to create landmarks on this earth, just like ants. You leave ants alone, man, a termite can build a mound that's taller than you, brother. So we can shape this earth. And what I'm saying is, before all of this, NASA and the space program been around before NASA. The objective of a bunch of men to displace people and control space. This what the whole cowboy concept is, how you control and herd the cows. And this wasn't possible before we were settlers. We was never like the pilgrims. If you look at all the ancient cultures and Eastern cultures, they was gypsies. That's where the word Egyptian come from. They was always moving. And this was impossible to do to people who was constantly moving. But I'm gonna fall back and let you build on that, my brother.
Yeah, because another thing that I noticed is this, that when it comes to not only the magnetic pull, because when you look at even the fire ants, the smallest fire ants, because I'm glad you mentioned about even a termite could build a mound as big as us or taller than us. When you look at the little fire ant, when they walk across the soil or the part of the nature that they inhabit, they create such a strong magnetic force that it is felt to thousands and thousands of miles away, that they don't even exist. That it's to show that how this ecosystem is all one. Everything is one. So if a fire ant down in the tropical rainforest, because when they walk throughout the rainforest, that the magnetic force that they exude, we here down in the in North America will feel that magnetic force, and it will help also fine tune us as energetic and frequency beings as well. That comes from that little small insect right there. And these are the little things that also that these folks has understand and overstand of how to manipulate not only the weather, but matter of fact, nature itself. Now, when Brother Sanchez is speaking back that the technology was also around from the 1800s, you got to think about the steam engine. You understand? So if they had this technology to create a steam engine, and you see that train when it goes and it's chugging and you see that smoke coming from out of it. You see what I'm saying? That was them playing with that technology even then. So when they had that steam engine, they had other equipment that they were using for like a factory purpose from what they were developing from then, and they understood this from then. That was just them playing around trying to master that technology from then. So we got to realize that these people have always been a leg up. Always been 20, 30 years ahead of time. So whatever it is, they showed a steam engine then, but but trust and believe they had a far more advanced technology running around in a certain part of the land that a lot of us were not able to go. Like how you have the Area 51s today. You can't go over to that side of the landmass, or else they'll shoot you dead. So you don't know what's going on over there. Right now, Brother Sanchez also touched on building dams, and he's exactly right. He's 100% right. They used to build dams to stop the water flow from flowing down certain streams that would run all the way down into another side of the world or into another country. And when they cut off that water flow, it disrupts the growth pattern of how you used to grow your crops and your harvest. And now that you can't do that now, what's going to happen? You're going to have to rely on your enemy to supply you your food. And when you rely on your enemy to supply you your food, what you think your enemy is going to do to that food? He or she is going to poison it. Thus, today, you see they're giving all of us this GMO shit. You understand? Now, when you're speaking of controlling the water flow, nothing is new. Nothing that these people do is new. It's all scripted, and they follow the same script. You see, the Chinese, they took over the Panama Canal, and they're building their own canal right now. And I always say, if folks let them get away with building that canal, and let them get away with building, folks let them get away with building that canal, a lot of folks within what they call the Caribbean, it's going to be fucked. They're going to control so much And we must realize and also understand that this thing that they're putting to you like they're about to go to war with each other and they're segregated, they're not segregated. All these people money, everything that they have, all these mega riches, they're all connected, they're all linked, and we have to wake up and realize and understand that they're all working together. The Chinese take over a portion over here, the Europeans take over a portion over here, the Arabs, the what we will call Africans, and so on have a portion over there, and they all come together. The few who knows and realize and understand what's going on, and they come together and they're working together behind the scenes and making it look like to our faces that they're not working together. But the way to know that they're working together is to follow the money trail. That's it. It's a follow the money trail. And you will see that everything that happened, not only from the 18th century, but from even beyond that, it's the same things that they're doing today. They understand that in order to control the people, you must control nature. And if you control nature, you can control the people. And in order to get away with controlling nature, you have to create a distraction for the people to focus on. Thus, if you look at Julius Caesar, when the people was getting too involved into politics and what he was doing, what did he do? He created a massive coliseum, gave them entertainment, kept them distracted. What did they do to us today? They give us the NFL. They gave us the NBA. They gave us Major League Baseball. They gave us hockey. They gave us all these things. Tennis. You know, you understand Wimbledon, the Wimbledon tournament. They gave us the Olympics. And we focus more on these things and we don't pay attention to where the money that we are putting back, this fiat money that we're putting back within the system, that is literally going back into these equipments that they are creating to wipe us out and control the numbers that they want to control the numbers to control the masses that's going to be also left back, and to also manipulate all of our education system, because Caucasian, Negro, whatever we want to call ourselves, African American, Aboriginal American, American Indian, whatever we want to call ourselves, at the end of the day, these people are the same people who are educating most of our people within the public school system. You know?
One thing I just want to add on the whole weather control thing, and I want to say thank you too, man, because man, you going in and you got a lot of facts, you got a lot of fire, bro. I gotta just say that I'm agreeing. I'm in agreement, man. We gotta do more of these collaborations on different topics. Shout out to all of the subscribers who subscribe to DarkManX. All of my subs, please go ahead and sub to the brother. We're gonna continue this thing. One thing I wanted to point out, when I was doing a little research on this thing, it's a tie in to the Jade Helm areas. It's a reason why certain Walmarts was shutting down in certain areas. You will see that they align themselves with a lot of targeted areas. A lot of these people been knew about it. Beyonce released the album called Lemonade, I think, and on the album she had a song called Formation, and in the video called Formation, you see her in the Louisiana, in the Katrina area, you know, with the water and the flood and everything. But if you look deep into the video, a lot of people say it gives future hints of Harvey and Irma too. So we know she in the know, and even in the Super Bowl thing, she did the little ritual, and a lot of these celebrities be in the know. But I'm gonna say this, with that being said, it's not a coincidence when we was talking about the spiritual aspect and how they do this stuff on certain days. Think about it, brother. They got the technology. Why don't they just do it anytime? No, they got the technology and they say we're going to do it on this day at this time for certain other different spiritual meanings that we're yet to discover. And all we know is that there's a weird combination of the days and the mythologies and the different things centered around, you know, the time and the names of the storms. For example, Harvey means battle ready. Irma is a war goddess. I didn't do the etymology of Katrina, but if anybody in the chat room know what Katrina mean, I'm pretty sure it can tie in. One thing I'm gonna point out, and I'm gonna pass the mic back to you, when I said I wanted to give the spiritual information, is that Hurricane Harvey happened on on a Thursday, and it ended on a Saturday, and I think that it's a reason for that as well, because like I said, Thursday being Thor, you know what I mean. So the
Mhm.
Thursday, the day was associated with thunder, lightning, and storms, and all of that in Norse mythology. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So
Yeah.
it was also you know, associated with fertility. And when you think about the area,
Ah.
when you think about the area that's attacked, it's called a delta. And if you look up the ancient etymology of the delta, it's a symbol that symbolizes fertility. This stuff can't be a coincidence. You know what I mean? And then
Yeah.
it ended on Saturday, which is a day of dissolution, or a synonym of dissolution would be dissipation, and the storm dissipated on a Saturday. It went away. Balance, in other words, came, and that's what Saturday represent. But this is just a little what you would call it, basic
Yeah.
astrology. I don't know.
See, and this is why I was also saying, because when they, to me, this is just my theory. The reason why they pick their date, their time, to do certain things, again, I think it is because the energy force of not only the planet but also the people are at different levels at these times. So they do all these catastrophe, these disasters, all these things at the peak of where we're either supposed to be vibrating high, or the planet is vibrating high, or there's something going on up there that we can't see beyond our eyes that they know for a fact is going on, and they chose those dates, those time to do what they're doing, and they know that the whatever energy force that is coming off, whatever it is that is going on, they happen always, every year or every couple of years on these days, and on these date and time, so they know exactly when to throw in these disaster patterns on us. Which when they do that, so whatever it is that's supposed to be affecting us in a positive way, they know how to turn that energy away from us so that we could focus over on something else. And the something else that we are focusing on is what they're doing to use to harness our energy flow away from us, because now we're focused on so many other different things that's going on, right? We're focused on these protests. We're focused on Black Power movement versus neo-Nazi. We're focused on the DACA. We're focused on Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor. We're focused on all these things when we could have been taking that positive energy flow, that righteous energy flow, and focused on building each of our communities up to be better, building unity within each and our communities, growing and healing each other within our communities, especially within the melanated community, because that community, our community, is the most distraught ones, and we must learn how to unite together before we can even operate within the world, because the world, when you look at it, all other ethnic groups also run on unity. But when they're keeping us all other ethnic groups clashing also, boom, 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 all the time, our energy is focused far away from where it's supposed to be focused on, and they're harvesting off of that energy. So everything that we do, how we direct it, they're even the directors of where our energy flow goes. And until we could take back charge of that, until we could direct it back in a positive manner, until we could stop paying attention to their mainstream bullshit of what they do and just stay focused on us and our community and building within our community, and ask ourselves, why are we paying for this or that? Well, we know nature provides it. Why do we have a man telling us that we can't grow certain type of seeds because they trademark and patent it? Why are we telling these folks that to these why are these folks telling us that we can't go fishing in an ocean that was given to us to go fishing in, because we don't have a license? Why do we need these people to depend on to survive? Why are we having these people take away our attention from what is important to obviously what is bullshit. And this is where that spiritual aspect comes in, because again, if we are not spiritually in tuned with this planet, we are not able to stay focused on what matters, and that is this planet first, then us afterwards, because without this planet there will be no us. So when we're focused on everything else in the book other than this planet, other than the fact that these people are literally telling us when to eat, how to eat, where to sleep, how to sleep, when to fish, how to fish, what we need to go fishing with. You understand? They're literally being our mommy and daddies. And they acting like they are our creator, and we don't understand what is going on in front of us because we are not in tuned with the creator, which is this planet. Because I look at the earth to be a creator, a provider, and we don't understand that because, again, we are not spiritually in tune because we took on a religion, a book. And within a book, we have leaves, we have paper. And where does paper come from? It comes from the trees. And they have to kill a tree to create these paper that we read through. So literally meaning all religious books is the book of the dead because it's dead leaves. That's in these books, and we have to get back in tune with nature to understand how us vibrating high on a spiritual level and on a physical level means to this planet and means to take down these supposed powers to be, brother.
And you know what? I'm with you on that. And I say that it's crazy that in times like this, you see people coming together, man, as one, trying to fight the storm, trying to make this thing happen. You really don't. You see that it's really the powers versus the people at the end of the day. Hey, shout out to my brother Dominique Imhotep. I'm gonna get in this chat room before we shut down, and I'm gonna actually get interactive with the people. I'm loving this bill, man. We've been going for about a little over an hour. I want to say shout out to everybody tuning in. This is a new channel, and I never thought that I would be getting over 50 live viewers. I just put the doggone channel up. I know y'all love me, but damn, like, I mean, you know, it may not seem like a lot, but I'm just saying, like, y'all actually came over here for the information. I'm serious about it. I'm glad the brother emailed me to talk about it because I've been feeling stormy, just like the weather outside. I live here in Las Vegas, brother, and we don't get no rain. We don't get no rain in the desert, but you know what? The past couple of days, it's been gray and wet and rainy as hell, and it ain't rained in the desert a long time. Shout out to Vegan Warrior, man. And let me just say that, yeah, I'm gonna be putting out more videos about this stuff, and because it kind of feel crazy talking about anything else while they're attacking us with this damn weather. You know, I see folks still debating crazy shit. It's like, bro, they gonna actually have to kick in your door with a gun for you to realize, yo, what the hell are we doing here? But I'm gonna just say this because I'm not for fear. Because until that happened, I'm going to still play my earth, wind, and fire too. You know, I got a smile on my face. I ain't tripping. But it's good. It's good for me to know the Most High nature ain't doing this. It's good for me to know that it all can end once everybody be hip to this shit. Because we protesting the wrong shit. Most of the earth don't know what we know, man. We less than 1% that understand this weather being manipulated, even though the research and the evidence is right there at your fingertips. You know, you can even see it in like one video. But I'm gonna fall back. We're gonna wrap this up in a minute because I don't want to go over 2 hours. But if you want, my brother, we can get interactive with the chat as well as or we can even put the key out there for the past little 30-40 minutes if you want. It's up to you, man.
All right, let me touch on this first, and then we could do that. Another reason for the drought in California, what was going on was this: the ancestors of this land created man-made canals underneath, flowing straight through the desert. So there was nonstop water flow flowing through the desert into certain parts of California and LA to keep the land plush. But underneath, within these canals, were all crystals, gems. And what was going on, what is going on still, is you have privatized companies out there within the desert blowing up these canals, and they're literally fishing for these crystals that they blow up. So this also plays into the spiritual aspect, because for those who like to buy crystals and stuff, you know how they say if your crystal hasn't been harvested properly, it could give you a negative effect, give you a negative energy flow, especially if you don't reprogram it, and it could also make you sick and even kill you and bring nothing but bad vibes to you. Well, what they're doing out in the desert out there is they're blowing up. They creating what I call these little geyser holes, and they dropping TNT down in there. Boom, 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 blowing them up, and they harvesting those crystals like that. And it's multiple different types of crystals, multiple different types of gems that they're getting up out of there. And what that did was that underground canal that the ancestors built for the water flow to flow freely throughout certain parts of California, LA. They blocked it up. Every time they blew one up, it caused a blockage. Thus, you saw that lake, that the lake and the dam, the water flow was just going down, down, down to being absolutely damn near nothing. And that's what they were doing. And they knew the effects that it would have on them, on the people, when they were doing that. So it's not like they didn't know, but we got to realize and understand this. These people capitalize on everything. So they know when they blow up underneath the ground for the crystal, they know it's going to cause a blockage and cause what we think is also playing a part of the drought, because the lake water that the California depended on, the river water that they depended on, was going lower and lower and lower. And then they said, well, it hasn't rained in this time, it hasn't rained in that time. And then you got to realize also that they have these supposed satellites in supposed outer space, right? So those satellites could control the heating pattern to decide also when it rains or not, if Mother Nature could allow it to rain or not. And if Mother Nature can't allow it to rain, we got to also realize and understand that it is due to those satellites that they have up there, which it is rumored that they have hundreds to thousands of them up there as well. So this is why the drought in California, this is what played a part of that drought.
Well, let me cut in. Let me ask you something, because you brought up satellites, and that's something that I don't think exists the way they show us. I would like to have a future discussion with you on your concepts about the cosmology on different stuff, because I think that'll be interesting. I want to know where you stand on a lot of stuff. If you got time, we can do that whenever you're ready. But let me say that this is interesting. I like talking to you, man. You're an interesting guy. That's why I want to continue this. We can actually make it a regular thing, a show where me and you just collab one-on-one, because I like the dialogue. But you know what? And at the end, we can do 30 minutes where we open it up to everybody if you like. So I'm gonna put the link out there, man. I know you probably ready to close this one down for now. But I'm gonna tell you this: we gonna talk about this some more. I just want to make the videos short, because what I'm gonna be, and the reason I'm doing that on this channel, guys, just to let everybody know, the reason I'm making these videos 2-3 hours, because I'm gonna actually be taking these and chopping them up and re-uploading them on other channels and different other platforms that I'm on for people that didn't see them, so it can be copies. So I'm gonna take a lot of these streams and chop them up, upload, so I don't want them to be too long, because you be chopping a video for weeks. You know how it is. So
yeah, I get you.
Just different parts. We can always stop it and do another one and do another. That way I can deal with it in pieces. But enough of that technical talk. If you want to open up the panel forum at this time so we can keep going with this.
Yeah, most definitely.
All right. Hopefully we don't get sniped. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go out there. But shout out to everybody again for tuning in. Go ahead and hit that link for me one time. And
peace and love, everyone.
Oh yeah, and shout out to DarkManX again, man. Like I said, I hadn't had a good build like this in a while. I think that's why so many people tuned in right now. So shout out to you again, because it's been good, man.
Thanks a lot, bro. Same here.
Oh yeah, a lot of information shared in a small time, and I'm referring them to more detailed sources as well. I'm gonna do a lot to this video because it's a lot we gotta know. But yeah, I got the link out there. I'm gonna give them some time to hit it for a minute. If anybody want to join,
All
go
right.
ahead and hit that link. Other than that, me and my brother just gonna wrap it up. You know, we just gonna go ahead and wrap it up. So you can stroll up the chat if you want to get in. But anything else you want to build about with this, man? Because it's a lot you know to go over. It took me three
Yeah.
videos.
Now, this was good. This was good. We could give them some more another time.
No doubt. I
But
like the way it went myself. I think it was a good, powerful, short, digestible video. So I'm gonna leave them with
yeah.
that. We didn't get nobody that hit the link. I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna probably when I go live on this channel, probably throw the link out there one time. And if they don't
Okay.
click it, then we'll go. That way we don't leave too much chance for the snipers and you know the porn bummers and
Yeah.
all of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. Again, I appreciate you.
All right. No problem, brother.
Hey, Dark Man, don't forget to email me so I can hook you up the technical issues and everything. It's
All
a
right.
piece of cake, bro.
All right. No problem. No problem.
Okay, man.
Thanks a lot for also doing this. Thanks a lot for your patience as well. Like I said to all my subscribers that's in the chat right now, subscribe to Brother Sanchez channel. It is a lot that this brother can teach you. It's a lot that you can learn from him. And the knowledge that he has is very vast. He has a great amount of knowledge, and again, it will help you to see this world for what it truly and really is. And we gotta realize and understand that. For those, I was once that thought the Earth was round, and when I started looking at it from the brother's perspective, and I started looking more into these man-made storms, you're going to see that it's not round for a fact.
Hey,
You're going to see that.
you know what? This is very powerful stuff, and I'm gonna pick your mind about some of the stuff you just said. But I see we got Sister Laquita just joined the panel, so let the sister build real
All
quick.
right, pieces.
If you talking, Laquita, your mic is muted. If you are talking, we can't hear you. Hey, okay, my bad. It's not a sister, man. Look here, forgive me. My brother. The name just looked like Laquita. My bad. It's hey, but we can't hear you. I see your mouth moving, but we can't hear what you're saying. I don't know if it's a mic issue or whatnot. To the people that's tuned in right now, let me say this. We're gonna let my brother get it under control. Let me say this to you, Dark Man, about what
Yeah.
you was saying. And okay, we got Chad on the panel. Let me not say that. Let me hold out with that. Welcome to the panel, Chad. How you doing? Flat power to you. How you doing? Flat power to my brother Chad. Welcome to the panel.
Peace, Chad. Peace.
Okay, I don't know if the brothers got mic issues, but when y'all join the panel, the spotlight is on you. But no pressure, no pressure. Glad to have y'all on. If you just want to come up to the panel, just to, hang out with us and have a front row seat, that's cool too, man. You could come up here and just be like, "What's up?" You know, I'm just listening in. That's all right too. We ain't that type of guys. So, but I will tell you this to my brother Dark Man. What you were saying is powerful. You actually was a globe earther and saw some of my work and became a flat earther. What in particular? And did you come from the Black conscious community?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That's how I started out. But with I'm different from a lot of the what you call the black conscious community because I sit back and I watch, right? And what I started noticing was everything was always focused on Africa. But then I started saying, well, damn, we have how many empires here? Why don't we focus on the empires here? And then when I started digging into that history, it brought me back into my own family's history. And when I started digging into that, I started realizing that my grandfather called himself Arawak, right? And then he had paperwork to prove it. And then his father called himself that. Then my grandmother called herself that, and so on and so on. And then my great grandfather and great grandmother, and the documentations was just there. And this is how, I knew my history. And then when I added that history to what they call the Tamohakan Empire and all of that, then I started saying, damn, why they always keep us focused on Kemet and Sudan and Ethiopia and all these places over there? If this is true and this is my lineage here, then that's not me over there. And then I started digging into that. Then it started taking me into the occult. And then when I started going now into the occult, and then certain family members and stuff was also educating me. And then I came across again your channel, and you broke down certain things about the occult. And I'm like, okay. I see it was something. It was a video that you showed, and it showed the KKK mask on the Masonic altar, and that intrigued me. I'm like, wow, there's a KKK mask on the Masonic altar. And then I came across Malcolm's video of where Malcolm was saying that the NOI had a treaty with the neo-Nazi and so on and so on. Then I started doing more digging, and I started realizing, okay, they're all in the Masonic Society. Then I started doing more digging, and then I realized, well, majority of the so-called pro-black community are all Masonic as well. So it is their job to give half truths and mislead. And then then I started looking at some of your other videos as well. And then when you're breaking down the whole flat Earth theory at first, I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't getting it. I'm like, nah, brother Sanchez, I agree with you when it comes to so on and so on. But you know what? But it's been within the past month when the man-made storm topic started coming up, and I started looking into it, and then it was a video you just also did. It was a video that you just also did. I can't. Oh my gosh, I can't remember. But
Was it the Queen of Heaven?
was it? I think so. I was it? No. I don't think
Okay.
it's this. It's one of your latest videos that you did. The thought was in my head to bring it up earlier, and I totally forgot it now. I hate when that happens. But I'm going to go back, and I'm going to tell you exactly what video another time. But it was one of your videos that you did that made me went and say, you know what? Let me start looking more into this man-made weather, because it was something that you touched on that really bothered me, and I was like, let me look into that. And then when I started looking into it, the thought hit me. I'm like, yo, these space shuttles aren't going into outer space. They're going high enough into the atmosphere to where to the naked eye we probably can't see it, but they're not out of space. And if it is true, if airplanes could fly above a storm, so could these folks have their drones and their space shuttles, or what they call their space station, to make you think that is in outer space. And then I'm like, well, if the Earth isn't round, and they say that they're orbiting the Earth as if within a ball motion, and we know now that because they have the capability of manipulating these storms, they can't be in what we call outer space. They have to be within close proximity of these storms. And then there was a video, I believe, that you had did that you broke down how the sun is not really light years away, but it's like 30 or so thousand miles away, because right there we can see it. And I'm like, yeah, we can see that shit. So then I started thinking, well, if they have to be in close proximity to also create these man-made storms, that means there is no space shuttle within outer space going around as within a ball motion around the Earth. That means they're literally going back and forth And I'm like, if that's the case, and they're going back and forth, and they have to slow down the clouds to also make sure that it rains at a certain amount of level, and the clouds has to be slowed down. That means the pattern of where they're saying that the Earth was rotating in, it couldn't be possibly be rotating in that pattern. That and which means if it's not within a ball motion, that means the surface that the Earth has to be flat. It can't be round in a ball for them to do a lot of the things that they are doing, because there's no way in hell they'll be able to do a lot of these things or even navigate the seas to how they're navigating the seas of how they could do it. And then there was a documentary that I was watching where they spoke of a compass that our ancestors had, and they showed that our ancestors mapped out the entire Arctic before it was the Arctic. And they found this map within the 15th century, and it is that map and that compass that they used and mastered within the 17th century. I can't remember the name of it. I got it written down somewhere here, but they used that map and that compass within the 17th century to master the seas. And they've been mastering nature from off of those two things also ever since. So that also let me know that when you see the makeup of that compass and how that compass moves, it lets you know that the Earth cannot possibly be round. It cannot.
It definitely can't. And anyone that's listening in, and shout out to my brother, because Dark Man, I don't really know your YouTube history or the history of your channel, but I know you got a growing channel. I support your following. Seem like they mature. It seem like
Yeah.
they'll merge well with my following. So we got to do this more. Hey, to the people that's on the follow. Damn, sorry. Flat power to all of y'all, man. To the people that's on the panel who want to speak, just go ahead and speak at this time. And shout out to my brother Laquita, man. Flat power to you, my brother. Exactly, brother. We going. Hey, we been getting them W's, ain't it, man? We undefeated now. This on another subject, Doc, man. You've been watching all the debates, man. We don't take no L's. Panthers don't take no L. You already know. It's been crazy. You know what? Let me say this on another whole nother note. The last thing I did before brother Sanchez live got the strike was a debate, and I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, I didn't see it, but I know that you were talking about it with with Tahaka Bay and them.
Oh
When
yeah,
I heard that, my first thought was, nah, don't even do it, because they're not even going to come to debate. They're going to come to try to slander. They're going to try to use your platform to try to manipulate those to follow their Moorish movement and what they believe in. And that's exactly what they was going to try to do. And then I heard about the after effects of the debate and all the slander and stuff. You got to, with these brothers, they're agents. A lot of these brothers within that movement, within the pro-black community, and this is why I stopped messing with it, because I used to go hardcore. I used to be like, well, you know what? This is always about a race thing. So in the early stages of my channel, I went in. But within my the reason I don't take down my videos is to show that I am evolving and I'm understanding, and my mind, my eyes is more open to what's going on really within this world. And these brothers are a major part of the mass manipulation that has been taking place within this world. And a lot of those brothers within the pro-black community, within the Kemetic community, have been taking a part in that. This is why I don't entertain them, period, because I already know of what lane it's going to go down. Because if they can't defeat you, they'll slander you or try to destroy your character or try to dig up your background or try to throw some kind of dirt on your name. You see what I'm saying? And with Tahaka Bay, once Tahaka Bay is linked with that conscious community up in Harlem, I don't mess with folks who are link with them on that straight hardcore level, because they're all Masonic brothers, every single one of them, and they snitch on themselves. Sometimes they don't even verbally say it, they just show you, and once you know what to look for, you already know who they are and which side they're batting for and what they're about. So when they talk about demonic entities within our community, that's them brothers. That's them. They're there to cause chaos and destruction. The thing is, your channel and the brothers who are always teamed with you are touching on truth. And their job is to divert the attention away from that. Thus, because channels like mine and other channels was stifling that so-called pro-black movement because they were doing too many scamming within that community, it's going dead. So now they need another latchkey movement to latch onto. Thus, they're going to try to jump on the Aboriginal American movement. They're going to try to jump on the Flat Earth movement, and they're going to try to siphon off of that energy and turn the positive flow into a negative energy flow. Which is also why I say again, it is not about race more so than it is about energy flow. Because if you look at within the pro-black community, or what they call the so-called black community, they put all these so-called black organizations who are still Caucasianly funded, meaning that they're partners together, working together for decades now within our community. So there is no such thing as segregation amongst them. The only thing that there is segregation of knowledge amongst us, the masses. So when you see channel like Brother Sanchez's channel touching on certain things, their job is to come in and disrupt that, which is what they did. Thus, you started having weird stuff happening also to your channel. And that I want to put it past them to be the ones to have done that to your other channel.
But you know what? I looked into the other channel on Bro Sanchez Live, and that was turned out to be another troll. That's a known troll. I did a video about it on Brother Sanchez Live. Hey, y'all, moderators, let's see who quick. Who was that? Soul Alchemy, good shot, good motherfucking shot. Blow your nozzle off. It's smoking. Blow that nozzle off. It's smoking. Soup Bone ain't got a life, do he? Do he come troll you, Dark Man, over there?
I think he's on my channel. The name looks familiar. That's why every time I look at it, I'm like, this person made a comment in my comment section on one of my videos before.
Yeah, man, it gets annoying because it kind of ties the chat up. People making good ass chats out there. I'm reading into them, and then here come this idiot with little remarks, and then my mods gotta ban them and shit. So, but you know what? It's all good. You know, once you start doing that to a lot of accounts, they can't make them that fast. Like, you know. It's starting to be annoying, you know. Oh shit. Hey, that's funny. Let me say shout out to all of y'all. Go ahead, my brother. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Soul Alchemy don't play. She don't play. That's my sister. She don't play.
Shout out to you, sister Soul Alchemy. We're going to have to start doing some giveaways here on this channel too. So that's another thing I want to say before we get out of here. And shout out to the people that joined the panel, whether you spoke or not. Just thank you for coming up here and not sniping us. For real. Hey, man.
Brother.
Hey, Dark Man. If you want to collab anytime, brother, just shoot me an email, man, and we're going to crank it up. But before you do that, just like I said, hit me up on another note so I can holler at you on the technical tip. But
most definitely.
Because the next show, I'm already thinking of a bunch of shows in my head that I want to do with you one-on-one.
All right, no problem.
All right, so but look, I'm gonna let the people go and get out of here, and you can email me, man, whenever. I don't know what I'm gonna do for the rest of the night, but I hope y'all have a good night. And let me say a big shout out to my brother DarkManX once again.
All right, thank you, brother.
And no doubt.
All right, peace, everyone. Peace. Have a good night, everyone. Have a good evening wherever in the world you are at, and much love to y'all. And all of y'all, just be safe. Stay woke. That's all I can say. You understand? And I'm saying flat power.
Hey man, and flat power back to you, my brother, because you know that's really the power that's gonna awaken all of our eyes to the grand deception. But we're gonna build on that too when you return, man. Shout out to you again, brother. Hey, have a good one, bro.
All right, you too.
So that was a good bill. To everybody that's out there still listening, I'm gonna let y'all go today. Thank you for tuning in. But before I get out of here, let me say, if you listening in for the first time, or if you just listening in from for whatever time, go ahead, take a minute right now and make sure that you are subscribed. So click the subscribe button, hit the like button as well. That won't hurt. Take just 1 second. And again, yeah, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. The reason you want to stay subscribed is because we're going to have a lot of great shows in the future. This is going to be a very powerful channel that's going to be different than my other platforms, because I'm going to actually be hitting the streets on this channel in Vegas, questioning people about Flat Earth live in Sin City. So you might want to hit that subscribe button. Now I'm going to be also giving away Flat Power t-shirts. So before I get out of here, I'm going to give everyone in the chat room, shout outs, because I don't want to leave without shouting each and every last one of you out. There's over 50 of you. That's something I can do. So shout out to Shun G. Make sure y'all subscribe to him, and shout out to Laquita Freeman, JW Entertainment, Vegan Warrior. We had a show that was planned that we will eventually make happen. Shout out to Knowledge is Infinite, Mike Everett, Everything's Love, My Brain Cell, Inquisitive Bunny, what's up, sister? Flat Earth Witch Bella, Soul Alchemy, Shelly Twins, what's good? My brother Tom Phillips, what's good? Jazz Bryant, Ewing Lucretia, what's up? Dane, and my brother Jason Roll, Carlene McLean, Copastatic in the building, Eternal Bliss, Melanin Empress. I think that was one of DarkManX subscriptions. Welcome to Flat Power TV. Oh, that's another thing. It's going to be Flat Power TV as opposed to Flat Power USA, because we're not limited to one continent. But at the time I was just thinking of something, and that was the first thing popped in my head. Shout out to Tom Phillips again, and I think there's everybody. Tiffany Rosado, see you. Don't want to miss you, sister. We have a very diverse crowd, like they were saying. Shout out to my sister Divine Will, and shout out to Jazz Bryant. I think I got you. Some people. Okay, well, check this out. Y'all stay tuned. Like I said, hit the subscribe button so you can stay updated. If I missed you, I'm sorry. Shout out to my brother Full Life and D Money Zion. I see y'all. What's the best video of proof of flat earth on your channel? That's an interesting or hard one to say right off the back at the moment. I hate to leave you hanging. Shout out to what was that? Again, thank y'all for tuning in. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'm gonna let y'all go at this time. Flat motherfucking power. Oh, shout out to my sister OSHA 06. Shout out to my sister. I always say I'm gonna leave and be around for 10-15 minutes after that, saying I'm gonna leave. And shout out to G3 Low TV, Philip Tedith. Flat power to y'all, man. Let me give y'all some wrenches. Also, let me give you an update before I go. I'm glad I didn't shut down. You all know that Bro Sanchez live is have a strike. That doesn't mean the channel is not active. The channel is still there. If you haven't subscribed to Bro Sanchez Live and Bro Sanchez TV, subscribe to all 3 of my channels, really all 4. But anyway, I will be uploading content on all those channels. All of those are active channels. So make sure you subscribe to all of my channels. Shout out to Derek Fletcher and Lynn W. All right, guys, I'm going to let y'all go. I love y'all. Have a good night.